Hi, everybody. It says I'm Phil, Megan's father, but you know that. So first of all, thank you all for being with us today and celebrating the marriage of my beautiful daughter and her soulmate, James. They've worked so hard together to create this day for us all, and I really couldn't be more proud of the two of you. During COVID, Megan and James decided that they wanted to be together. Personally, I thought this was going to be a massive test for both of them. The test of tolerance and love of each other. I'm pleased to say that both tolerance and love have blossomed. They have become an amazing team, and they are now taking on the rest of their lives together as husband and wife. But this just isn't a marriage of Megan and James, this is two families coming together. And Claire and Dave, you've raised such a wonderful man. The biggest compliment I can pay to James is that every single member of my family love him. And he's become a massive part of our lives. And also, thank you so much for the kindness that you've shown Megan over the years. I fear that your tolerance has possibly been tested as well. Now, I'm stood here because I want to look at my daughter and say a few words about her. Because apparently, a firstborn daughter is a reflection of her father. I'm not completely sure that that's true. Because I didn't raise a princess, I raised a warrior. My daughter never runs away, she never hides. She is remarkable and unbreakable, always emotional and fiercely passionate. Every family needs a daughter like Megan, who fears nothing and protects everyone she loves without hesitation. My daughter's a fighter, and there's not a single thing I would change. So, that's enough of that. I've got away so far, so good. There's always a song that says it better than I can say it. These are a few words, Meg. She's beautiful. She's crazy. She can't help but amaze me. The way that she dances, she's not afraid to take chances, and she wears her heart on her sleeves. Yeah, she's crazy, but her crazy's beautiful to me. Finally, just a little thought. Google helped. A beautiful life is not something you stumble upon. It's nurtured and built over years. A beautiful life is not made easily. It's made with your heart, and it's never made with your head. A beautiful life is not about finding somebody you can live with, but finding somebody that you can't live without. A beautiful life is about falling in love with the same person over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a toast. Please be upstanding for the bride and groom.
Right. Next, we've got the groom, James Badham.
Whoa! Flipping it. Thank you. Firstly, I want to tell you all on behalf of Megan and I what an honour and a privilege it is to look around me and out at the room and see everyone we love and hold most dear in the world. We truly appreciate you joining in the celebration of the best and most important day of our lives. I have many people to thank and acknowledge today. In the interest of not keeping you here for hours, I'll try to make it brief. Firstly, I want to thank Megan's bridesmaids and my groomsmen for your friendship and support, and a special thank you to Vicky and to Jack for your efforts as maid of honour and best man respectively, the organisation of hen do's and stag do's, and in particular the acquisition of matching suits hasn't exactly been smooth sailing, but we got there in the end.
I thought we got over that.
There are many people across our now officially unified family who have made a positive impact on our lives, and for which our appreciation and love deserves to be noted. Firstly, to Megan's parents, Phil and Claire. I'm not sure what you thought of me when we first met 14 years ago, and it's probably best we keep it that way. One thing I know for sure is that it wasn't the best idea to state that I hate cricket to Phil within 5 minutes of meeting him. Not a great start.
You always did.
In all seriousness, I know how much Megan appreciates and loves you both, and I want to say a massive thank you for raising such an incredible woman, and for welcoming me into your respective families and homes, and for all the support you have given us as a couple over the years. We wouldn't be in this place today or in our lives without it, so thank you. Now to Miles and David. I've seen you grow and grow and grow and grow. From small, somewhat shy boys to confident young men. You've both always been loving and supporting brothers to Megan, and have accepted me and made me feel like a member of your family from day one. It fills me with joy to see you both happy and settled in your lives, and it's my privilege to be able to now officially call you brothers. To George, Harry and Sam, having known you boys for years from school before I ever met Megan, I'm sure it was as strange and awkward for you as it was for me the first time I rocked up to your house with your sister in arm. After building many of my fondest memories with you all and finally getting Sam to speak to me after about 5 years, it's hard to imagine not having you all in my life. To Ali, thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for Megan and I, and for welcoming me into your family. I must also give a shout out to Ali's dad, John. You'll see on your tables that you each have wedding favours, small bottles of our homemade alcohol. Part of the process of making this was picking berries and sloes. John kindly offered to help us with this, and in the process, pricked his finger on a thorn. His finger proceeded to swell up massively and become infected, the end result apparently being a diabetes diagnosis. So John, I hope you can hear me. I wanted to say thanks for your sacrifice. Now to my little sister Alice.
Here we go.
The main thing I want to thank you for is the fact that you're still speaking to me after all the years of torture I put you through growing up. I doubt you even remember, but I think as early as 2 years old, I was using you to practice wrestling moves on. And it didn't get better for you for a long while from there. We may be far apart in age and often distance, but our bond is one that will never break. Sorry. And I'll always be there for you when you need me. I love you very much. Mum and Dad.
Oh,
Sorry. For so many reasons, I wouldn't be standing here today without you. You've pushed me when I needed to be pushed, and loved me when I needed to be loved. You've done your best to instill in me your own combined qualities of honesty, loyalty, kindness and care. I know it can't have always been easy, especially during my teen years, but...
That's not what they call them, James.
But your guidance and your unfaltering love has made me the man I am today. Hopefully...
Sorry.
No. I was going to say, hopefully, a man you can be proud of. Yeah.
I am very proud.
You've always supported me, Megan, and our relationship in every possible way, through all the ups and downs. I could stand here, thank you for eternity, and it would never be enough. I love you both very much.
We love you, sir.
To all our grandparents and other extended family here with us today, if I had the time, I would mention each of you individually. Just know that we love you all greatly and massively appreciate all of the support you have given us over the years. Yeah. And I want to give a special acknowledgement to all of those that we've loved and lost. Whether they knew Megan and I separately, as a couple, or when we were engaged, I know that they would have been filled with joy to see us get married today. Although they can't be here with us, the impact that each of them has had on us lives on. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to say a few words about and to my new wife.
Who's that again?
It's been nearly half of our lives now since the moment we were introduced by Emma at Richard Hewish.
Yes,
Cheers for that, Em. In that time, we've grown from children to adults together. We've built countless memories, a home and a family, albeit a four-legged one, with a four-legged child. Yeah. We've been through trials and tribulations, and we've weathered every storm. Through all of this, we've come to know each other better than we know ourselves. And the woman I know is one who's beautiful inside and out, one who's kind, generous, and fiercely loyal to me and to everyone she loves. You've never been afraid to stand up for yourself or for others when you feel that they've been wronged. You're extremely hardworking and have achieved feats already that I and many others would never think to achieve in a lifetime. You should always be proud of who you are. I could never express all that you do for me and what you mean to me, but I'll try to convey it like this. At my peak, you celebrate me. In my trough, you lift me up. When I'm frustrating, you tolerate me. When I'm hurting, you give me your love. You're my torch in the darkness, my ever-guiding path. For now and forever, you're my everything, my other half. All that I have left to ask of you all is that you raise a glass to my new wife, my new beautiful wife, Megan. Megan.
To me.
To you.
Great work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
And finally, the final speech of the night, the big man, Jack Wiggins.
Govia Wiggins.
Well, hi everyone. Now, For those who don't know me, my name's Jack, and it's my job as best man to show you all the sides of James you might not be aware of. Which is strange, because if there's one person here who knows way too much about James's questionable life choices, it's me. But don't worry, mate. I know I promised not to embarrass you too much on your big day, so there will be some stories I'll definitely be missing out. Now, everyone here knows James for the man he is today. However, I think for all of you to truly understand the man we see before us, I've got to take you right back to the very beginning. My very first memory of the James Badham. Now, it was just over 20 years ago, long time, at the start of year 7 at Weddington School. I remember walking out of the boys' house rooms, and across the quad in the distance, I noticed 2 figures scuffling around in a circle with blazers. As I got closer, I realised it was James trying to prove his rugby prop strength to any boy who dared challenge him. Up stepped a brave boy, someone who's here with us tonight, called Ollie Winter. I don't know where Ollie is. When James realised brute strength wasn't going to cut it against him, he did what any self-respecting competitor would do. He faked an injury, so the match would be called a draw. The crowd erupted, cheering for the true victor, Ollie. James, clearly unimpressed that his fighting style had been exposed, bent down to pick up his blazer, looked up and puffed out his very first words to me. And I quote, "I won that fucking fight, mate." True. He lingered for just a moment, staring at Ollie, said nothing else, and just walked off into the distance. And that was my first introduction to James, and honestly, it set the tone for the next 2 decades of friendship. Now, I think I can safely vouch for all of our old school friends here today that James certainly provided a lot of entertainment throughout school. Honestly, I've always said my biggest regret in life is not making a TV show called The Badhams Family. Because if I had, I'd be a very, very rich man right now. The only real challenge would have been deciding which moments actually made the final cut in each episode. Like the time when James decided to steal our chemistry teacher's can of Coke from his desk at the front of the classroom. A few minutes later, the teacher walks in, clearly baffled, looking around for it. Then from the back of the class, James leans back in his chair, cracks the can open, and whilst holding eye contact with the teacher, takes a long, dramatic sip and announces to everyone, including him, how refreshing it was. Or when the time his mum, Claire, picked him up in her car and dropped him to the finish line in our annual school's cross-country race. That is true.
It is.
Or the times he'd tell everyone he was an addict and needed to puff on his Nicorette pen in lessons. And then getting furious with teachers when they told him to stop. James was a truly famous figure at Weddington School. Kids in the years below would whisper his name in awe as he swaggered down the corridors. Greeting everyone with his trademark, "What's on then, strut?" He was just a really, really cool guy.
I don't want to laugh at it.
But putting all his coolness aside for just a moment, it's fair to say James did actually have some surprising talents at school. For starters, he was a genuinely talented musician. He truly mastered the art of singing like a full-blown all-American reject. He also excelled in science. Like the time he conducted a personal experiment to see how high he could get by spraying Lynx Africa directly into his mouth.
You did do that.
And finally, rugby. James was genuinely an outstanding rugby captain. He definitely was. One year, he captained our rugby team to become one of the highest-rated schoolboy teams in the country. He had many traits, like giving inspiring speeches at half-time, sleeping a cheeky uppercut in the scrum, or, as our old teammates know, having the agility to sidestep any opposition that he came up against. When we were 16, our time at Wellington School together had sadly come to an end, but it definitely wasn't the end of our friendship. That summer, I was lucky enough to join the Badhams on a caravan holiday in France. Dave's favourite memory. And honestly, still to this day, it's one of the funniest holidays I've ever been on. One night, after a few too many beers, we somehow ended up in the neighbouring campsite. A little while later, we stumbled back to bed, convinced our late-night antics had gone completely unnoticed. The next morning, James's granddad, Pete, was sat outside having his morning cigarette, completely baffled as to why everyone walking past was pointing, laughing and shaking their heads at him. He tried to ignore it at first, but eventually called Dave over to figure out what was going on. Soon enough, we were summoned, and there was Dave pointing to a pile of stolen signposts stacked proudly against the side of Pete's caravan. Dave just completely lost it. We just stood there in silence, head down, tried not to laugh. But behind him was Grandad Pete, crying with laughter. Of course, that only made it worse because the more Dave shouted, the harder Pete laughed. Eventually, Dave told him to shut up, which naturally only made Pete laugh in his face even more. And as I was writing this, I thought it'd be fitting to take a moment to pay tribute to Grandad Pete, who I know meant so much to James and all his family, but sadly isn't with us today. I'll always remember Pete being right there in the middle of some of our favourite memories growing up with James and all of our friends. And no doubt we all miss him dearly today, but I know he would have been incredibly proud of the man James has become, and of the fact, of course, he finally married Megan, who I know he loved very much. At the end of summer, we both joined Richard Hewish College to start the next phase of our lives. They say that college is a place where people truly find themselves. However, for me and James, we found something even better: the cabin. Some of my fondest memories are sitting in that cabin with James, talking absolute rubbish, smoking our extra long cigarettes. But I smell it. But every time, just as we were settling into our nonsense, we'd hear the sound of a car pulling into the driveway. Panic stations, cigarettes stubbed out, deodorant sprayed, and windows opened. The next thing, the door would fly open, and Dave would be standing there, eyes filled with rage, glaring at us, shouting something about coffee shops. Going around the Badhams always felt like a second home, and I want to thank them all for always being so generous and making me feel like part of the family, and obviously providing me with hours of often unintentional entertainment. It's memories like these that make my childhood and teenage years so much fun, and James, you were right there at the centre of all of them. You've always been there for me in the high times, but more importantly, in the low times as well. When I left Wellington School for Richard Hewish, I really struggled.
Daddy speaking. Daddy singing.
I know. Thanks, son. I didn't have my old friends around me, and I didn't have my girlfriend, now wife, Catherine. But James was the one mate who looked out for me when no one else did. And without even meaning to, he taught me how to be more confident, how to make new friends, and how to carry myself into new social situations. James has always been that guy who could walk into a party and everyone would gravitate towards him. He has charm, charisma, and a way of making everyone like him. That's something I've carried with me, not just in my personal life, but also in my professional life too. He's the most loyal and dependable friend anyone could ask for, and whenever I'm with James, I always feel like I'm in a place I can call home. Growing up, he's always given me a sense of comfort and stability in my life that's generally really hard to put into words. And James, I want you to know that our friendship means the world to me, and without you, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And for that, I want to say a massive thank you. Now, of course, as we all know, today isn't just about James. So please can we all take a moment to acknowledge just how beautiful the father of the groom looks on his big day.
I had to.
But Dave, I think even you would admit you don't look as beautiful as the bride.
No.
I think we can all agree she looks absolutely stunning today. Megan, I want you to know, I want to say how much we can see all the hard work, effort you've put into creating such a beautiful day, and you can really see how much thought and care has gone into every single detail. And thank you not just for today, but for also putting up with James day in and day out. I've always admired how you've managed to hold down a full-time job alongside being James's full-time carer. You've officially upgraded his living standards from ashy Coke cans and stiff curtains.
I had to say that.
To the home of a semi-functioning adult. James has had many stages in his life, from a spoiled Veruca Salt, to a wannabe cook from Skins, to an Ollie Sykes fanboy with an emo cowlick, to finally, you'll like this one, the IT professional we all see before us today. Computer scientist. Now, it's safe to say that all of these stages have been rather temporary. However, there's one stage that's well and truly stuck, and that's his love for Megan. I realise that all these stages have led James here, but I can say with absolute certainty he's never been happier, more settled, and more himself than when he's with you, Megan. The truth is, marriage isn't about finding someone you can live with, it's about finding someone you can't live without. And that's exactly what you two have found in each other. Megan, you and James are each other's best friends, and it's been an absolute pleasure to watch the two of you grow together over the years and finally get married today. I couldn't have asked for a more loyal and genuine friend in James, and you couldn't have found a more loyal and genuine husband. So, if everyone could please stand. And raise a glass. To James and Megan, may your marriage be full of laughter. I knew that was going to happen. To James and Megan, may your marriage be full of laughter, love, and memories as unforgettable as the ones James has given me. To the bride and groom.
Bride and groom. Well done, Jack.
The food's coming.
It's so good, mate. Thank you. That's all right. Thank you. I mean it, every word. Thank you.
That was so good. Thank you.
I mean it. It's amazing to see you two today.